Hello everyone, I'm Angela, and today I am thrilled to introduce you to the Medit family. We have the Medit i600 and i700 wired. We will be going over the basics of the Medit application and the workflow. Let's get started. Once you receive your Medit scanner, you will need to make a Medit account. Simply go on meditlink.com, click on Login, then Don't have an account? Sign up. Then select Dentist, Manager under Clinic. After inputting the necessary information, click Register, and you will be sent a verification email to the email you had provided. Once you have verified the email, you will be able to log into meditlink.com and download the Medit application. Visually, the Medit application and the Meditlink web browser looks extremely similar. The Meditlink web browser is an account management website. The Medit application will be where you will scan patients. The difference between the two platforms can be determined with the icons to the left. Starting from the top left, you can see Dashboard. This page is dedicated to furnishing you with in-depth statistical insights into your scanner's usage. Additionally, it will prominently feature the scanner's serial number, a vital requirement when submitting a support request, ensuring your convenience and efficient assistance. The default calibration period is set at every 14 days. However, if you find that the scanner's performance is suboptimal, please don't hesitate to initiate the calibration process at your discretion. The elapsed days will provide you with real-time information, indicating the number of days since the last calibration was performed. Continuing down the list of icons on the left, next is Casebox. Casebox will serve as a comprehensive list of all cases, including those that have been newly registered to those that have undergone post-processing of scans. Cases can be filtered based on your selection of icons. Next is OrderBox. In OrderBox is a list of all the orders that you have sent to a lab to get products fabricated. CaseTalk is a remarkable feature within the Medit application that enables you to share scan data with anyone who has internet access via a simple link. To utilize this function, open the desired case, click the Share button to obtain the link, and then copy and paste it into an email or text to share with your patients or colleagues. Last is the trash box, where all cases that have been deleted will be held. Now, let's review a basic workflow. To start, we are going to continue on the Medit application, click Casebox, and then click the Add New Case button in blue, all the way to the top right of the screen. If you know the patient has been registered, simply write the patient's name and select Register and Scan. If the patient has not been registered, select the button on the right called Patient List, then select the New Patient button. While only the patient's name is strictly necessary information, it is strongly recommended to input the birth date and, in the memo section, any known allergies the patient may have. This additional information significantly aids in distinguishing and accurately identifying the specific patient, particularly in cases where multiple patients share the same name. After inputting all the necessary information, click on Save. Then, select the appropriate patient and click Register and Scan to continue on to scanning. If you wish to register all the patients for the day simultaneously, choose Register and proceed to register the remaining patients in succession. Once patient registration has been completed and Register and Scan has been selected, the software will ask you to submit what type of procedure you will be completing. On the left are all numbered teeth. Let's say we are doing a crown, and our issue tooth is tooth number 14. To proceed, first, select the issue tooth. Once you've done that, the options under Type, on the right side, will become visible for selection. When you click on the type of procedure you wish to perform, the software will automatically advance to the next step, which is selecting the method, material, then shade. You will then need to continue and choose the appropriate selections as required. For a broader range of shade options, simply click on the three-dotted button, and additional choices will become accessible. Once you have completed all the necessary selections, the issue tooth will change to the color corresponding to the respective procedure, visually indicating that it has been successfully designated and registered with the chosen procedure. If you need to designate more than one issue tooth, start by making your initial selection. Depending on your laptop, you can hold down the Control key on Windows or the Command key on Mac while selecting the additional issue teeth. This allows you to select multiple teeth simultaneously for the desired procedures. Continue and select the type, method, material, and shade. To select both arches, please click on the Arch option located next to the Teeth button. After choosing either the mandible or maxilla, hold down the Control or the Command, and then proceed to select the other arch and finally the type. For a simplified workflow overview, I will unselect any specific procedures and proceed with scanning by clicking the blue Scan button located in the top right corner. Once you select Scan, the software will automatically take you to Medit Scan for clinics. When your scanner is powered on and connected, you can always monitor its status, which will be displayed on the bottom left of the screen. Currently, it is indicating that calibration is needed for the scanner. Make sure to have your calibration tool readily available on the side. When calibrating, it's necessary to remove the protective cap or mirror tip from the scanner. Please exercise caution during this process, as the scanner's camera is situated directly underneath. Next, remove the cap from the calibration tool and align the number 1 on the tool, with the scanner's function button. The function button on the scanner is identifiable by its white color with a blue check mark. Make sure to press down the calibration tool so that it does not fall off the scanner. After attaching the calibration tool to the scanner, the software will automatically detect your intention to calibrate. At this point, simply follow the on-screen instructions. Press the function button, or with your mouse, click on the Next button. When the software indicates readiness, proceed by rotating the calibration tool to advance to step 2 as instructed. Continue this process through each step, incrementally moving through the calibration procedure until you reach the final step labeled Last. Now we have completed the calibration. Take the calibration tool off the scanner, but make sure you protect the scanner's camera first by putting the mirror tip or protection cap on. Then put the cap of the tool on. If you plan to scan a patient immediately after completing the calibration process, it is advisable to attach the mirror tip. After completing the scanner maintenance, be sure to securely place the calibration tool's cap back on, rotate the top until the number showing states 1, and store it aside until the next calibration is required. Now we are getting ready to scan. The button located at the top of the screen, depicting a clipboard with a pencil, serves as the stage management button. Here, you can easily modify the workflow by clicking or dragging or adding the necessary steps as required. Each scanner has its own scan strategy. However, the Medit scanners are extremely intuitive, and you will not need to follow the scan strategy to the T. The scan strategy that I will be going over with you today is mainly for the patient's comfortability. First, start with either molar, bird's eye view, then continue towards the first canine. Once you hit the first canine, you will need to rock back and forth across the anterior to the second canine. Once you have hit the second canine, complete another bird's eye view to the other molar. Whenever you are taking the scanner out of the patient's mouth, buccally. When putting the scanner into the patient's mouth, lingually. This is because taking the scanner out of the patient's mouth buccally is easier than putting the scanner into the patient's mouth buccally. Those few steps will complete our first rough scan of the patient's mouth. Now on the screen, I will complete a first rough scan. As you can see, the scanner is held almost like a pen, with one finger on the function button. To start scanning, press the function button once, and to stop scanning, press it once more. Now using the mouse, I am able to manipulate the position of the scan data to see where I am missing information. There are clear areas such as this one and in the anterior. We will simply take the scanner and revisit these specific areas, hovering the scanner over the designated region. While scanning, make sure to capture approximately 2 to 3 millimeters of gingiva. This step will be particularly beneficial during the final stage when obtaining the bite registration. In situations where the scanner encounters difficulty in determining its position within the patient's mouth and the red box appears on the screen, it is advisable to begin scanning in areas with distinct ridges, such as the molars. Once you obtain the rough scan, you are also able to jump back and forth between areas within the patient's mouth. After completing the scans, it is recommended to trim the scan data to ensure aesthetic scan data sends to labs, and particularly for post-processing purposes. In the top left corner, under Trimming, you will find 3 different types of trimming tools. Personally, the easiest trimming tool is the brush. To activate any tools, simply click on it once, and once it has been activated, the tool will be highlighted in light blue. Choose your desired brush size from the options at the bottom of the screen. Then, click and drag over the areas containing unnecessary data that you wish to remove during the trimming process. This button, called Rotate, helps you rotate the scan data when a tool has been activated. To continue trimming, click on the Rotate button once more so that it is not highlighted in light blue and continue trimming. To deactivate a tool, click on the tool so that it is not highlighted in light blue. Our mandible scan data looks great. One of the standout features of the Medit software is its exceptional user-friendliness. If ever you find yourself unsure about the function of a particular tool, simply hover your mouse over it, and the tool's name and description will be displayed, providing you with valuable guidance. There are many tools on the screen, as you can see. Let's say I wanted to know what the color of this tooth is. We are able to use a tool called the Smart Shade Guide. To activate the tool, simply click it once, then select the appropriate tooth number. When you hover your mouse over the tooth, you'll notice a painting tool, indicating that the software recognizes the tooth for color analysis. Hovering over the gingiva will not yield the same result. After selecting the correct tooth, you will see 3 options. The first one, marked with a star, indicates the most recommended tooth color for that specific tooth. You have the flexibility to make your selection based on your own judgment and discretion. Once selected, that information will automatically be added onto the scan data for when sending to the lab. Click the tool once more to deactivate. Now, moving on to our next step, the maxilla. Click on the picture of the maxilla at the top of the screen. When scanning the maxilla, it's possible to remove the scanner's mirror tip, rotate it 180 degrees, and then reattach it to the scanner for optimal scanning. This adjustment is made to ensure a comfortable grip, but if you find an alternative scanner holding position more comfortable, that is perfectly acceptable as well. Once the mirror tip is properly placed, continue scanning the maxilla. Start from one molar, bird's eye view toward the canine, rock back and forth in the anterior. Once you hit the second canine, bird's eye view to the other molar. Remember, when taking the scanner out of the patient's mouth, buccally. When putting the scanner into the patient's mouth, lingually. Scanning the maxilla can be somewhat challenging, so don't hesitate to invest the necessary time and care to achieve accurate results. As you can see, there are a few areas that require additional information. I will continue to gather more data to ensure completeness. If the scanner loses its location and regaining it becomes challenging, simply move the scanner's tip to a molar or an area with distinct ridges. This will help the scanner reestablish its position quickly. On the top right corner of the screen, you can monitor the scanning session's duration, the total number of frames captured by the scanner, and the frames per second at which it is operating. So far, I have been scanning for 1 minute and 12 seconds. 2,501 frames have been taken at 37 frames per second. The HD camera tool is incredibly useful if you wish to capture a detailed image from inside the patient's mouth. To capture an image in the desired area, position the scanner's tip there, click the function button once, and the image will be seamlessly added to the scan data. The control scan depth can be controlled by this icon. One of my favorite functions in the software is called the reliability map. To activate it, click on the button under Rotate until you see the scan data turn bright green. The bright green represents efficient scan data, so the issue tooth or teeth and the 2 adjacent teeth need to be completely bright green. When scanning the entire arch, there's no need to make everything completely bright green. The key is to ensure there are no large clear areas or holes in the scan data. If there are clear areas or holes, take your scanner with the reliability map turned on and obtain the necessary information. Now, moving on to the last step of scanning, the occlusion. Scanning the bite registration is going to be very fast. The initial step is to have the patient bite, followed by inserting the scanner all the way into the back of the patient's mouth. Let's start from the patient's right side. Next, move the scanner swiftly up and down, ensuring to capture a substantial portion of the gingiva and the top 4 and bottom 4 teeth like shown. When no registration has occurred, the scan will remain light gray. Once one arch has been registered, the scan will turn light green. When the bite has been successfully registered, the scan will turn bright green, and the arches will align with your scan that was originally light gray. Even if the bite has been registered and bright green, continue to scan until you scanned at least 4 top and bottom teeth. Now it's time for the second bite, and we will repeat the same steps for the other side. Now, let's prepare for post-processing. But before we proceed, let me show the difference between the i600 and the i700 wired scanners. I've initiated a new case and will begin scanning the mandible exclusively using the i700 wired. I maintain the same grip on the i700 as I do with the i600. However, due to the presence of 2 buttons, I position my middle finger on the blue function button and my index finger on the white button. Use your pointer finger to click on the blue function button once to start the scanning. You'll notice that the i700 operates noticeably faster than the i600, capturing up to approximately 75 frames per second compared to the i600's capability of scanning at only around 35 frames per second. With the white button located right below the blue function button, you have the convenience of manipulating the scan data without the need for a mouse. This allows you to pan, zoom, or rotate the scan data for better visibility, helping you identify areas where additional scan data is needed. When you encounter clear areas or holes in the scan data, simply return to the specific area, hover your scanner tip over it, and capture the necessary scan data. Starting the scan while hovering over molars or areas with distinct ridges in the patient's mouth may facilitate the scanner in locating its position more easily. Excellent. We're now prepared to proceed to our next steps and continue scanning the maxilla and occlusion. And that's the Medit i700. Let's go back to the scan we had completed before. Once we have captured all necessary data, we need to post-process by clicking on this button with a checkmark inside a clipboard. Once you click on the Complete button, the clipboard with the checkmark, the software will ask you to select one of the following. This option is called Process as Is. If you click on this option, the software will process the data with the areas with insufficient data as empty spaces. This option is called Fill Major Holes. If you click on this option, the software will process the scan data and fill in the major holes. This option is called Create 3D Printable Model. If you click on this option, the software will make a flat base or specific thickness. Fill major holes is highly recommended for post-processing scan data before you send to the labs. Once you click on Fill Major Holes, the software will take you directly to the Medit application. There will be a blue pinwheel while the scan is being post-processed. Once the post-processing is completed, the pinwheel will be replaced by the icon as shown. This icon facilitates the creation of memos that you may wish to communicate with the labs. This icon enables you to export your scan data. Clicking on the Order button, and then the lab you are partnered up with, to easily send scan data to the lab. Thank you for joining us. I hope you found it informative and valuable in enhancing your understanding of the Medit i600 and i700 wired. Thank you.